"No one should ever have to deal with this," Caitlin Clark stated, expressing her frustration over the alarming threat she faces. As the WNBA grapples with its treatment of player safety, Clark's recent stalking incident has raised critical questions. Why does it seem that the league and its fans are indifferent to her plight? Caitlin Clark's journey in women's basketball has been nothing short of remarkable. From her early days on the court, she showcased an unmatched talent that quickly garnered attention. As a standout player at the University of Iowa, she led her team to significant victories and broke numerous records, including becoming one of the top scorers in NCAA history. Her dynamic playing style, characterized by deep three-point shooting and exceptional passing, has redefined what it means to be a guard in women's basketball. Clark's impact extends beyond the court. She has become a role model for young athletes, inspiring a new generation to pursue their dreams. However, her rise has not come without challenges. As she gained fame, Clark also faced increased scrutiny and criticism from fans and media alike. Even with these obstacles, she remains focused on her goals, demonstrating resilience and determination. As we continue to follow her career, it's clear that Caitlin Clark is not just a player. She is a transformative figure in women's sports who is paving the way for future stars. The recent stalker incident involving Caitlin Clark has raised serious concerns about player safety in women's sports. Following a series of alarming threats, Clark found herself at the center of a disturbing situation when a man was arrested for stalking her. This incident shocked many fans and highlighted the vulnerability female athletes face in today's world. Reactions to the incident were mixed. While some expressed outrage and support for Clark, others seemed indifferent, reflecting a troubling trend in how women's sports are perceived. The lack of immediate response from the WNBA and its players further fueled criticism, as many felt that had this happened to another player, the reaction would have been swift and vocal. Notably, when similar threats were made against other athletes like Paige Bueckers or Angel Reese, there was an outpouring of support from fellow players and media outlets. This disparity in reactions raises questions about the prioritization of player safety within the league and emphasizes the need for a more unified stance against threats faced by female athletes. Now let's talk about media bias against Caitlin Clark. Caitlin Clark's rise to fame has not shielded her from media bias, which often manifests in negative portrayals and unfair scrutiny. Many commentators have noted that while Clark's achievements are celebrated, her flaws are magnified disproportionately compared to her peers. This bias can be attributed to several factors, including her outspoken personality and the expectations placed on female athletes. The media often focuses on her competitive nature, labeling it as aggressive or overly emotional, while similar behaviours in male athletes are often framed as passion or determination. Furthermore, there seems to be a tendency among some media figures to downplay her accomplishments while amplifying any missteps or controversies surrounding her. This double standard not only affects public perception, but also impacts Clark's mental health as she navigates the pressures of being a high-profile athlete. As discussions around gender equality in sports continue to grow, it's crucial for media outlets to reflect on their coverage and strive for more balanced narratives that celebrate female athletes' achievements without resorting to bias. Before we move on, make sure to like and subscribe for all the updates you need about the WNBA world. Let's continue. When comparing responses to safety incidents among WNBA players, it's evident that there is an uneven approach depending on the athlete involved. For instance, when Paige Bueckers faced threats last season, there was widespread condemnation from both fans and players alike, with many calling for immediate action from the league. In contrast, Caitlin Clark's recent stalking incident received minimal attention from the WNBA community, raising questions about why some players receive more support than others. This disparity highlights a broader issue within women's sports: the need for consistent advocacy for player safety, regardless of popularity or public profile. The WNBA Players Association typically responds swiftly to threats against its members. However, their silence regarding Clark's situation suggests a potential bias based on personal opinions about her character or playing style. This inconsistency not only undermines the league's commitment to player safety, but also sends a troubling message about whose well-being is prioritized within women's sports. Social media has become a double-edged sword for female athletes like Caitlin Clark. While it offers a platform for fans to connect and celebrate their achievements, it also serves as a breeding ground for harassment and negative commentary. In recent months, Clark has faced an influx of hateful messages online, ranging from personal attacks on her character to threats against her safety. This online abuse is not unique to her. Many female athletes report similar experiences where their performance is scrutinized through a lens of sexism and hostility. The anonymity afforded by social media allows trolls to target these athletes without fear of repercussions, creating an environment where harassment can thrive unchecked. Moreover, this behavior often goes unaddressed by platforms that fail to implement effective moderation policies. As we witness an increase in visibility for women's sports, it becomes imperative for social media companies to take stronger stances against harassment and provide safer spaces for female athletes to express themselves without fear of backlash or intimidation. Let's dive right into the WNBA's institutional support for player safety. The WNBA's institutional support for player safety has come under scrutiny, especially in light of recent events involving Caitlin Clark. While the league has established policies aimed at ensuring a safe environment for its players, critics argue that these measures often fall short in practice. For instance, when Clark faced a stalking incident, the league's response was notably muted compared to how it has reacted to similar situations involving other athletes. Many feel that the WNBA needs to prioritize player safety more effectively by implementing comprehensive protocols that address threats directly. This includes providing resources for mental health support and ensuring that players feel comfortable reporting incidents without fear of backlash. Additionally, the league could benefit from fostering a culture where player safety is openly discussed and prioritized, rather than treated as an afterthought. As the WNBA continues to grow and attract more attention, it is crucial for the organization to demonstrate a genuine commitment to protecting its players. Without this, concerns about safety will persist, potentially jeopardizing the well-being of athletes like Clark and others in the league. Hold on a second. What do you think drives the different reactions to Caitlin Clark's situation compared to other players? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. Caitlin Clark's experiences highlight a double standard in how female athletes are treated within the WNBA compared to their peers. When examining public reactions to incidents involving Clark versus those involving other players like Paige Bueckers or Angel Reese, a stark contrast emerges. For example, when Bueckers faced harassment, there was an outpouring of support from fans and fellow players alike. However, Clark's recent stalking incident received minimal attention from both the league and its community. This disparity raises questions about why certain players receive more empathy and advocacy than others. Factors such as popularity, media portrayal, and personal biases may play significant roles in shaping these reactions. Furthermore, some critics argue that Clark's outspoken nature and competitive spirit make her a target for negative scrutiny that other players do not face as intensely. This double standard not only affects public perception, but also impacts the mental health and well-being of players like Clark, who deserve equal support regardless of their playing style or personality. Now, let's dive deeper into the impact of fan culture on player experiences. Fan culture plays a pivotal role in shaping the experiences of female athletes like Caitlin Clark. While passionate supporters can elevate an athlete's career through encouragement and enthusiasm, toxic elements within fan culture can lead to significant challenges. In recent months, Clark has faced harassment online from some fans who express extreme views regarding her performance or persona. This type of hostility can create a hostile environment that affects an athlete's mental health and overall enjoyment of the game. Moreover, social media platforms often amplify negative comments while failing to adequately address harassment or threats directed at players. The pressure to perform under constant scrutiny can be overwhelming for athletes who are already navigating high expectations from both fans and media outlets. As women's sports continue to gain popularity, it is essential for fan culture to evolve positively, supporting athletes while condemning any form of harassment or abuse. By fostering a more inclusive and respectful fan environment, we can help ensure that players like Caitlin Clark feel safe and valued in their professional journeys. I have a question for you. Do you believe that media narratives surrounding Caitlin Clark are influenced by race and gender? We want to hear your insights, so comment below. Caitlin Clark's public perception has evolved dramatically, particularly as her star continues to rise in women's basketball. Initially celebrated for her incredible talent and competitive spirit, Clark has increasingly become a polarizing figure. Some fans admire her skills and determination, while others criticize her for being too aggressive or overly emotional during games. This mixed perception can have serious consequences for her career and mental health. The scrutiny she faces often leads to intense pressure, making it difficult for her to focus solely on the game. Furthermore, the negative narrative surrounding her can overshadow her accomplishments, affecting endorsements and opportunities within the league. As public opinion sways, it impacts how sponsors view her marketability and how the media covers her story. The pressure to maintain a certain image can be overwhelming, especially when faced with online harassment and threats. Ultimately, the way fans perceive Clark not only shapes her identity as an athlete, but also influences the broader conversation about women's sports and the treatment of female athletes in competitive environments. Who stands up for Clark? In the wake of recent events surrounding Caitlin Clark, the question of peer support has come to the forefront. While many athletes in the WNBA have publicly supported each other during difficult times, Clark's situation has revealed a noticeable gap in solidarity. When incidents involving other players like Paige Bueckers occurred, there was an outpouring of support from fellow athletes and the league itself. In contrast, Clark's recent stalking incident received minimal acknowledgement from her peers. This disparity raises questions about why some players are more vocal than others when it comes to standing up against harassment and threats. Some speculate that Clark's outspoken nature may contribute to mixed feelings among her peers, as she often challenges norms within women's basketball. However, it's essential for all athletes to recognize that standing up for one another is crucial in fostering a safe environment. As discussions around player safety continue, it becomes increasingly important for WNBA players to unite in support of one another, ensuring that no athlete feels isolated in their struggles. The intersection of race and gender plays a significant role in shaping media narratives surrounding Caitlin Clark and other female athletes. As a white athlete in a predominantly female sport, Clark experiences both privilege and scrutiny that can differ vastly from those faced by players of colour. Media coverage often emphasises certain traits or behaviours based on these identities. For instance, when Clark displays competitive intensity, it may be framed as passion, while similar actions from players like Angel Reese might be labelled as aggressive. This double standard not only affects public perception, but also influences how players are marketed and supported within the league. Additionally, racial biases can manifest in the way stories are told about female athletes, often sidelining their achievements in favour of sensationalised narratives that focus on conflict or controversy. As discussions about race and gender continue to evolve within sports media, it is vital for journalists to adopt more nuanced perspectives that celebrate diversity while challenging harmful stereotypes. By doing so, they can contribute to a more equitable representation of all athletes in women's sports. Just a moment. What changes do you think are necessary to improve player safety in women's sports? Let us know your thoughts in the comments section. Now let's talk about future implications for player safety in women's sports. The ongoing discussions surrounding Caitlin Clark's safety highlight urgent issues regarding player safety in women's sports. As incidents of harassment and threats become more prevalent, there is a growing recognition that sports organisations must take proactive measures to protect their athletes. The future implications are significant. If leagues like the WNBA fail to address these concerns adequately, they risk alienating their players and fans alike. Enhanced security protocols at games, better reporting mechanisms for threats, and comprehensive mental health resources are essential steps toward ensuring player safety. Moreover, fostering an environment where athletes feel empowered to speak out about their experiences without fear of backlash is crucial. The consequences of neglecting these issues could lead to decreased participation among young female athletes who may feel unsafe pursuing their dreams in sports. As we look ahead, it is imperative for organizations to prioritize player safety as a foundational aspect of their operations, ensuring that all athletes can compete without fear of harassment or violence. The recent events surrounding Caitlin Clark have sparked widespread calls for change regarding athlete protection in women's sports. Advocates argue that current measures are insufficient to safeguard players from harassment and threats they face both on and off the court. Many believe that sports organizations must implement more robust policies aimed at addressing these issues directly. This includes establishing clear protocols for reporting incidents and ensuring swift action is taken against offenders. Additionally, there is a pressing need for educational programs aimed at both fans and players about acceptable behavior and respect within sports culture. By fostering a culture of accountability and respect, organizations can help mitigate the risks associated with fan interactions and media scrutiny. Furthermore, collaboration with law enforcement agencies could enhance security measures at events where female athletes are present. As conversations around player safety gain momentum, it is essential for stakeholders across the board, players, coaches, fans, and media, to unite in advocating for systemic changes that prioritize athlete protection above all else. The lack of support and concern for her safety raises critical questions about how female athletes are treated. It's time for the league, media, and fans to reflect on their responsibilities. Only through collective action can we ensure that no player ever has to face such threats alone. Thank you for watching, and let's continue this important conversation.